Hi, everybody. Welcome back to TableTakes. Or should I say, welcome back to Happy Birthday to you.
I knew it was hard.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bonsai.
Wow.
Why is everybody on the screen?
Birthday to you.
And many more.
Man,
Thank you.
you straight up lied to Bonsai.
You lied. I knew it. I was like, this
Straight
is
up.
suspicious.
I
It's
couldn't
tomorrow,
resist.
but you
Bonsai's
didn't
birthday is tomorrow. We're also excited because Bonsai is getting older, and also Bonsai is growing a person who's also getting older. Thank you, Bonsai, for always sticking through the hard times and the good times with Table Takes. We love you so much. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us today on Table Takes, everybody. We're gonna jump right into our host update, and we'll start with Bonsai. Bonsai, have you had a second to calm down from the
Just
excitement?
still blushing. It's gonna be it's a lot. I'm doing a lot this week. I had my puppy party last week. This week, of course, I got my birthday because I was like, I thought I could sneak by. I was like, nobody noticed anything. I'm gonna sneak by on this. Javion found out. But yeah, no, I'm busy the rest of the month and into November. Got to get ready. Friends and family, of course, are coming over to visit. So I got to clean my house. Got to go take the dog to dog training, and then get ready because the baby is actually really starting to move. I felt it kick me when I put my hand on it this morning. It was weird. I have a very weird alien. Technically, it's an illegal alien because you're not a U.S. citizen until you're born. Fun fact. And yeah. Why don't it's the truth? No,
You're growing an illegal alien inside you.
Yeah, it's an alien. It's a legal alien, you know. But no, there's just a lot of things going on. Very happy, and I can't wait to see what's up for tomorrow because Mr. B, my other half, my partner, said that there's going to be a surprise for me. So I have to wait and see what he got. And apparently the hint is that it had to come in by freight.
Oh, wow. That sounds like a
that's the
really
hint.
big gift.
I know.
I'm gonna spoil the surprise for you. He's also pregnant.
Ah, shoot, I should have known. We're
Yeah,
having twins. You heard it here.
Yeah, to ship one in from overseas. Well, Bonsai, I'm very excited for you. We're all very excited for you. And again, happy birthday. Peter, what have
Yes.
you been up to this week?
Well, I am getting ready to do more actor-oki. I'm always doing actor-oki and Gen Con TV stuff. Been talking with a couple of potential producers about a couple new shows for Gen Con TV. So stay tuned. Maybe we'll see what happens. And I'm filming next week, so that's always exciting. So looking forward to that.
That's very exciting. If I could wager a guess, let me think. You're gonna add on 3 more interview shows where you get to interview more industry professionals, isn't it? I knew it.
I think that's a great rumor for you to start.
I mean, if we're taking pictures, I got some pictures. I got some ideas. No, I'm kidding. Okay.
Oh, I'm afraid to hear what you would have to pitch, Noir. Speaking of which, Noir, what have you been up to this week?
Nothing. I did the first episode of Rim Eternus, another show on Gen Con, which was really fun. I play a socially anxious Decker, which is pretty cool. Last week on my other interview show, we interviewed Johnny Stanton, formerly of the Cleveland Browns. I've talked to a lot of people in the TTRPG community, but I fanboyed real hard because I love football. But that's about it for the most part.
Well, it sounds pretty exciting at the very least, and I'm very happy for you. Um,
Are you, Javion?
Oh, well, I didn't think anybody was even going to ask, but I'm glad you did. I've been up to a whole lot. This weekend, I played a whole game of Twilight Imperium in one day. It was 9.5 hours of deciding who you're going to attack, what to tell, how you're going to convince everybody to attack one person and not you, negotiating on agendas to pass and voting powers and just creating lots of battleships and flying them around and fighting people with them. It was very fun. And of course, yeah, boy took first place. So I got a hot tip for all of you players out there who are looking forward to a game of Twilight Imperium yourself. Play the Isaril tribes. wait till the very last round, and then just stall. Just discard cards, turn after turn, just wait for everybody to do their thing, and then just jump in and take over all the planets for yourself and get a bunch of points. And then that's how you win. It's easy, super fun. But I also wanted to show off one quick thing. A Kickstarter has arrived for me, and let's just say it's pretty epic. It's the Agents of Smirsh Blurry Edition. Hold on.
Blurry edition.
Let me fix.
It's censored for our
There we
view-
go.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that blurring made it look like whatever was behind the blur was filthy.
This is the Agents of Smirsh Epic Edition. I spent a whole lot of money, a whole long time ago, trying to get the updated components and the newest edition of Agents of Smirsh, because the first time I bought this game on its regular edition, it didn't come with the top secret cards. So I was like, you know what, this time, if it doesn't come with top secret cards, I can just tell all the people, hey, I got my Kickstarter wrong. I'll just go on the campaign manager. I know a lot more now than I did back then. So I'm very excited to play it. And if you were wondering why it's called the Agents of Smirsh, it's a game about spies, and it's a portmanteau of two Russian words, Smert Spionem. It's the counterintelligence department of GRU and NKVD. Death to spies.
Wow.
All right. Well, with that exciting update from all of our hosts, we are now ready to jump into some board game news. We got some spicy headlines today, and we're going to kick things off with some spicy news about Kingdom Come Deliverance, the board game. Kingdom Come Deliverance is a video game that a lot of players were very excited about when it came out. It sees the gamer choosing to start in a town as a normal peasant, and you go around performing mundane quests like fetch quests or helping people move carts around town, while you're also learning about the large world that the designers have created. But you become a hero over time, and you get to make lots of decisions, lots of very wacky decisions, like learning how to ride a horse, or are you going to start a war with a neighboring country and try to take revenge on the people who ransacked your town? There's a lot of things that can happen, and fans were very excited about a board game version of it because it had so much rich storytelling to be explored. Well, why are we talking about it on TableTakes, you ask? Well, unfortunately, the Kickstarter campaign, they originally were seeking 100,000 euros, which is pretty reasonable. I would say so reasonable, in fact, that they found their pledge goal reached in just about 90 minutes. By the end of the campaign, they made it all the way to 320,000 euros over just a couple of weeks. It's very fascinating, but unfortunately, on their 19th update, they announced that they had to pull the plug. They had to cancel their campaign. Even though they made so much money, they had so many people backing their campaign, they had still underestimated how much it would take to produce this board game and ship it out to everybody. Turns out 1.5 million euros was around the ballpark of what they were really looking for. Kind of a large underestimation, if you ask me. I wonder what went wrong. Well, it's fairly nice that they decided to tell everyone about it instead of just going forward and hoping that they could raise the funds in some like rich patronage benefactor situation, hoping that they won the lottery or something like that. They just decided to cancel the campaign altogether. And they're going to try to relaunch the campaign again once they have a better idea of how they can run it with a little bit more gusto and get a little bit more, how do you say, I would say a little bit more strategic planning in advance this time around. Obviously, this is a huge bummer for the creators as well as all the fans of the game, myself included, who are looking forward to a really rich, really large board game to play. It was very promising looking. It was supposed to be co-op and RPG, have lots of elements that incorporated things like an AI mobile app to help run the game for you. It was going to be really, really exciting, but unfortunately, we'll just have to look forward to a new edition of their Kickstarter campaign somewhere down the line in the future. I'm sure y'all are like big fans of things like Oblivion, Skyrim, Dragon Age. Have you played games like that? I'm sure you guys were also looking forward to seeing this game on the shelves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's at least good on them that they said, okay, instead of just taking the money and not having deliveries for like years or years or years, or not like being honest about it. And maybe this makes us like have to reflect on like how like setting lower Kickstarter goals is actually hurtful for a lot of publishers, that like we as a community has like made it so if they don't fund within the first 3 hours or something like that, it seems as not as successful. Maybe planning on more reasonable goals and just being more honest. Like I say kudos for giving back the money. That's all I can say.
Yeah. And sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I enjoyed the Kingdom Come video game very much. So I was kind of excited for this. But yeah, just to reiterate Bonsai's plate, we've seen tons of stories where a Kickstarter fails, but the creators take the money and run.
Yeah.
And the fact that they didn't do that is respect.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was touch and go for a second. A lot of people didn't know if they were going to get their money back. So I'm sure everybody's really excited to hear that they got a little bit of justice. So with that, let's move on to our next headline. Noir, would you like to tell us some exciting news about a new Asmodee acquisition?
You betcha. Asmodee announces new distribution initiative for game publishers. This story is being brought to us by Jeffrey Don Sanchez of ICV2. So thank you very much for that. So Welcome was created to help game publishers by giving them a one-stop shop point of contact within Asmodee to help develop custom solutions for distribution needs. Publishers are going to be able to pitch their games for this initiative via Welcome's website, and publishers with established titles will be eligible to enter a licensing or distribution agreement with Asmodee that includes translation and localization services through Welcome. The Welcome initiative will be headed by Adrian Rowe, who commented on the announcement. Asmodee has built a robust organization of studios that publish some of the world's best games. Said Adrian Rowe, head of Welcome by Asmodee. With Welcome by Asmodee, we will highlight the up-and-coming successes and make it that much easier for companies to connect and operate with our global network of distributors. Welcome will be based out of Asmodee's global headquarters in France, and game publishers seeking to connect with Welcome can find information through their local regional headquarters. Additionally, publishers can also pitch Welcome in person at Nuremberg Toy Fair and all other major game fairs happening in 2023. So I'm kind of excited about this news. Seeing some of the minutiae of game creation from behind the scenes, there are just so many small particulars that you have to be concerned about other than just game creation, especially if you're dealing with things like licensing. So to have a program that kind of fast tracks and runs through those processes for game designers so that they can focus on creating good games, I think that's the best that we could expect from like a company having such a presence in this field. Like, it's always a little worrisome when like something gets that big, but if they're using that presence to assist up and comers with the like bureaucracy of game creation, then I give it a thumbs up.
I mean, I think the publisher is still responsible for creating the game, right? They just don't have to do the sales and marketing.
Right.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, it makes me wonder what the deal looks like. How much of the pie does Asmodee take in exchange for
that is true.
Offering you sales and marketing sort of support, and it might just be sales support. You might still have to do your own marketing even, and then also how much attention are you going to get given how many other games Asmodee has. So I don't know. I think it's a good option. It's good to have that option
Yeah.
there. I agree with you on that. But boy, I would want to know. I would have a lot of questions about the details before
I'm just
signing my game over to them.
I'm just seeing how difficult things like shipping have
Oh, yeah.
become lately. I just think having
Yeah.
access to these distributors alone makes that a deal that even like I would listen to. Like I would sit at the
Yeah.
table
Yeah,
just for the
for sure.
distributors alone.
Well, it's for sure Asmodee has a huge distribution
Yeah.
network, and especially international versions of the game. Like how do you want to get your game in Southeast Asia? You want to get it in Brazil. You want to get it all over Europe and Canada and everything. Yeah.
That localization feature. Whew.
I know some people who are also getting into the game making industry or just like don't know what to do. I feel like this is a good intro to get introductions. And then like, maybe you use your first game as a kind of like sacrifice, I guess, to kind of get your foot into the door. I could see that being a possibility. And some people just don't, they have the mindset to make the game. And they're successful, but like the marketing and the sales and getting all that stuff is just too overwhelming for them. And all they just really were like, this is what I want. I just want to get my game out there. And then kind of step by step, kind of use this as a learning opportunity to figure out how to actually go through the rest of the process.
Asmodee is becoming like a really big powerhouse. I remember when we were reporting on them acquiring several game publishing companies over the last 2 years, a lot of fears have been, popping up. And I think Asmodee has like a really huge responsibility to do things like this to show people that it's actually good for our industry, for our hobby, when we get more recognition, when people get more power to do things for the industry. So good luck to Asmodee, and good luck to the game publishers. And let's hope that you get picked as one of the pitches that gets to go into Welcome. But we're not done with the industry news just yet. Bonsai, would you like to tell us some more WotC news we've been looking forward to?
Oh, yes, of course. Actually, a couple of two like good meaty like newsworthy came out about WotC this week. Wizards of the Coast, if you guys aren't familiar with the term. The first one being that Ray Winnegar, the D&D executive producer, announced that he is stepping down this week. Of course, Ray took over as the executive producer in 2019 from Mike Merles, and has helmed the release of big new source books. For me personally, I guess that's a really big thing to come in from like 2019 and then deal with the 2020s to 2022 situation. I could kind of see where maybe someone might want to step down after dealing with that whole time period. Initially when this happened, there was wild speculations that came out that he has been forced out by a new D&D VP. But Winnegar basically stepped up on Twitter and made it clear that he was just taking a long rest and coming back to work on some personal projects. So just like, hey, I got overwhelmed, which is reasonable to say. And then maybe like, I want to do my own projects and have fun again. And then the other really interesting news that came out was WotC also released their Q3 financials, revealing that they experienced about a 16% decline in revenue from last year. Of course, Q3 revenue declined from 360 million to 300 million. These numbers, of course, are very, very, very large in my head. But it is a difference from, how like in the past, they're like, oh, we keep growing. Hasbro itself came out and said that this revenue decline is probably due to the timing of the release of the Magic the Gathering sets, with new sets scheduled for release in the fourth quarter versus the third quarter. And that's probably where the sales are coming down, because they moved a lot of those card sales because, of course, shipping and distribution and all that jazz is just really clogging up the works.
Well, I can attest to that. I certainly know that from my experience when I was with Magic, the timing of a Magic release has a huge impact on what the curve of the company's annual revenue looks like. So if they did indeed move a fall set or something like that from one quarter to another quarter, the quarter they moved it out of would definitely take a big hit. Yeah.
I think they're definitely redistributing funds into different areas as well. I think that's a huge part of it. That, like you were saying, Bonsai. I mean, they're definitely working on getting the word out. I mean, how much bigger can D&D really get? Well, we're getting the documentary. We're getting a bunch of Lego sets for D&D as well. The feature film. So I don't think this is like by any means like a red flag or anything like that. I think it's just like a signifier of how big the changes going into all their different projects are being redistributed.
And I just want to say, hey, congratulations to Ray. I look forward to, if you're out there listening, Ray, I'm eager to see what you do next. I've always been a big fan of your work from clear back in the days when you worked at Mayfair. I was excited when you got the job at WotC, and I'm excited to see what your personal projects are going to be on the horizon.
Yes. Let's see what their destiny might be. Oh, speaking of which, perhaps you've heard of a board game called Destinies. It is a very fun, very competitive, sort of choose your own adventure style exploration fantasy board game. It has a companion app to help you explore the different tiles, keep track of different resources at your arsenal, and you will take control of different avatars, these characters, these heroes who level up over time in their skills in terms of dexterity, wit and strategy, or just pure strength and power, collecting loot and affecting the story as you go along. It's a very excellent game. I own a copy of it myself on my shelf, and it looks like there is a new story expansion heading to shelves from GameFound RPG, and it's all about drinking wine and being witches. It's called Witchwood. Destinies has already gotten one expansion called the Sea of Sands that saw adventures taking place in more desert type areas, where this one is a little bit more inspired by Slavic folklore and fairy tales. It's definitely got a darker tone to it. I mean, just the name alone, Witchwood, inspires ideas and visuals of witches and dark forests and things like that. Witchwood is going to be offering new gameplay modules and 12 new characters, which is pretty huge. I mean, Destiny's already has a ton of characters already, and it's kind of like a legacy game where you choose a character and you just take them on a journey, and you'll play them over several sessions of games over and over again as you affect what happens in the game. It's a very exciting, a very innovative game. All the scenarios are very interconnected. And in this new expansion, you'll actually see NPCs returning in other scenarios. So you get to see NPCs that you played with, maybe giving you info dumps, or that blacksmith that you bought a big sword from might have new items for you to equip in future games. It is still a competitive game. You're still vying for control over different areas. You're still trying to accomplish your goal, which might be at direct odds with another person's. It's definitely going to have another twist on the character trait module versus the adversity module, which just adds more expansion for in-game decisions and adding more complexity. It's looking like it's going to continue to support 1 to 3 players as the story goes, ages 14 and up, and plays in about 90 to 150 minutes. So you can find yourself playing a kind of shorter campaign, RPG style, playing out a story and seeing where it goes, or you can play several sessions at once, like we've seen most legendary legacy games. It's looking like the pre-order is going to be going up in just 4 days on October 25th. And if you want to check out some of the gallery images, if any of this sounds very interesting to you, they have huge, very intricate, beautiful, just gorgeous miniatures that can be used and painted. They come unpainted, so you can decide what you want them to look like. They've got plenty of inspiration to go off of. I'm sure it's going to look very spooky, and just in time for Halloween as well. I'm very excited to see that this is a new expansion coming out very soon. I'm probably going to jump on that pre-order as soon as I can, and I hope you all get a chance to as well. moving on. We got some more spooky board game news coming from Peter.
Yeah, that's right. What does home mean to you? Well, to the designer of this game, home is where you trap the victims. Yes, this article comes from Alex Meehan at Dice Breakers. According to Alex, Doug Lewandowski, one of the co-creators of Kids on Bikes, has co-designed a new tabletop role-playing game where players build their own haunted house. The game is called Home. In Home, players collaborate together to create their own haunted house, one that holds a terrible secret that draws victims in and traps them. Players use a variety of tools, such as cards and pins, in order to form their haunted abode, with their characters exploring it as they go. So it sounds like you're creating a house and playing a character going through the house at the same time. Though the players are building the house, they don't necessarily have complete control over it and may fall prey to its depths if they can't find a way out. I mean, that's a trick, right? In every haunted house movie, there needs to be some way to trap a character in the house, or everyone would just leave. So this horror tabletop RPG takes place in a house that is being plagued by supernatural terrors, ones that have already claimed multiple lives. The nature of the supernatural events and behaviors will be decided by the players, as well as the cards they draw from, depending on what Haunting Tales decks they choose to draw from. Each deck will provide players with different events and storytelling elements. For example, Echoes of Childhood and Witch's House. And before their characters enter the house, the players will establish a series of details about it. Once players have brainstormed their haunted house, their characters will enter it. The characters are created using a selection of archetypes inspired by history of horror stories, with each archetype driving that player's behavior and their choices. For instance, the ardent believer desperately believes that the supernatural is real, whereas the rattled skeptic is on the cusp of believing but continues to cling to rational explanations. When exploring the house in the tabletop RPG, players will take turns drawing cards from the night deck, each of which contains a series of questions that will determine the course of their character's journey through the night. When a player is the director, they will decide which questions are answered and how. As players walk through doors, they'll draw new rooms, the contents of which are taken from the night deck. Characters can run afoul of danger whilst exploring the house, gaining wounds along the way. Players will ultimately be looking to fulfill their character's specific need, even at the risk of being lost within the house forever. In addition to Lewandowski, the team includes co-designer Yansu Julian Kim, card and interior artist Kevin Spencer, and cover artist Sarah M.W. Miller. It will be published by Wet Ink Games, the publisher known for Banana Chan's game, Jiangxi Blood in the Banquet Hall. I'm sensing a theme. Home is currently being crowdfunded on Kickstarter with 22 days to go.
I was really surprised by how often people really and not horror. Everybody knows everybody loves horror, right? But how often people enjoy playing as kids. Like, I remember when I was starting to learn Monster of the Week and I started running it a couple of times, I gave people options on what characters they wanted to play. Resoundingly, people chose to play as teenagers and kids on bikes, for instance. And I don't know. Why do you guys think that is?
Because it's just things are extra scarier and there's still magic at that age, and it's just you still kind of like have more belief versus like when you're adult, you're like, I see your special effects and I've read all these stories. I know there's going to be a jump scare around this corner. So it still has that new flavor of being new and unexperienced.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Nor.
I was just going to say, I think it's easier for people to get into the mindset of themselves as children than it is a different person to start.
Well, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. And we were all kids once, so we remember what it's like. I've definitely never made my own haunted mansion before, and this definitely sounds like the kind of game I would avoid at all costs. It sounds way too scary for me. And it's perfect for the holiday season. I mean, for Halloween, in fact, we are choosing the spooky stuff for you guys. Don't worry. Were you gonna say Bonsai?
Oh no, I was just saying when I heard this, I also thought that maybe this can be reskinned as a Home Alone game where then
Oh,
you
yeah.
turn you make the booby traps in your house and you're Macaulay Culkin, and then you're just waiting for the robbers to come in, and then that kid should have been charged for attempted murder. I'm just saying, the traps in there.
Kevin McAllister grows up to be Jigsaw. That's my headcanon. But I'm
Well, speaking of the holiday season and fun surprises, we have a new D&D advent calendar that Noir was lucky enough to get to tell us about.
Absolutely. This news being brought to us by Alex Meehan over at Dice Breakers. Thank you very much for the story. RPG Christmas Advent Calendar features daily supplements for D&D 5th edition. A Christmas Advent Calendar contains supplements for tabletop role-playing game Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition for players to get every day leading up to December 25th. The Season of Adventure Advent Calendar is for players of tabletop RPGs such as D&D 5e, with each door containing an item or piece of supplementary material designed to be used with the TTRPG. Like most Advent calendars, the Seasons of Adventure calendar features 25 doors for players to open up in the run-in to Christmas. However, unlike a standard Advent calendar, the Seasons of Adventure calendar features supplements to be played rather than pieces of chocolate. Every day leading up to Christmas, players can expect to open the door every day to find things that they can then use during the game. Examples of items found within the Season of Adventure calendar includes tokens, miniatures, maps, and music for players and game masters to employ when experiencing Dungeons & Dragons 5e. On top of that, GMs can find tools such as stat blocks for monsters, magic items, and non-player characters, or characters controlled by the GM instead of the players, to help plan and run their games with. I think this is a pretty cool little feature, especially if you if you play every week, having a few new tidbits for each week's session. I just think it'll be hilarious if one of the monsters that you get from an advent calendar TPKs your party. I just, that's where my mind immediately goes. It's like, Merry Christmas, everybody dies.
Just don't get it for my wife, because Dee will be so excited because she's going to think it is chocolate.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh no!
What is this token? And why is it a monster that I can't eat?
Where's the chocolate? You should be dumping it out upside down.
I can't believe they're putting miniatures in it. Like, I can imagine this being pretty expensive with the amount of stuff that they're announcing going inside it. I mean, tokens and some maps, I get. Definitely, that's like very creative stuff. But like, anytime you add miniatures into anything, it just spikes that price up way high.
No, I would say it's not even Halloween. That's my only problem. They're announcing it. We talked about this before the stream started. Let me have my Halloween. You can stop over Thanksgiving. Okay?
Bonsai tried to veto this topic.
Hey, Bonsai, can you hear Mariah Carey warming up?
Oh God,
She's fine.
It's too early. She's coming. She's coming.
Well, Bonsai, don't worry. The Kickstarter hasn't even launched yet. It won't launch until November 1st, and then it doesn't even finish until November 3rd anyway. So I don't know how they're planning on shipping this to everybody this year. Maybe it's gonna actually ship next year instead. I'm a little concerned for that timeline. It seems cutting it a little close. But
well, maybe they have it all done, right? I mean, I think that, like, you know, talking to Damon about his Kickstarter, The Crown, I mean, he's got the game pretty much designed. Tanel's already doing the art. You know, it's I guess, you know, what are these PDFs? I mean, who knows? They could be all written by now.
I think so, yeah. Actually.
I mean, they could be like, hey, we wrote all these things. Let's go get some money to bring, you know, and to raise money to be able to make it, you know, and it's mostly done already. I don't know.
I have a theory that I have a theory that maybe just because I don't know if people knew, but last year, 2021, it was like the season of advent calendars all over everywhere on the internet and even on Facebook, where they had like, I think they even had an illegal D&D advent calendar that was published, and people went out, and it was like there was like really weird miniatures and stuff in there. So that like maybe they just saw from the precedent of last year of people just going nuts for advent calendars, that they produced it, and yeah, like, and maybe they already have everything set and shipped, and so all they have to do is slap some printing labels on there and ship them out. That would be awesome.
Speaking of which, Bonsai, how's your quest calendar going? Are you keeping up with it? I'm definitely not. I do not have the attention span to do something every single day.
Oh yes, yes. I have all of it. I actually am doing it tomorrow too. Or not tomorrow, sorry, Sunday. I do them in week increments. And I'm actually doing really well. Except I'm not getting as much money. Quest calendar, I already ordered, and I had my a notification that my quest calendar for next year is going to be coming in. That's going to be sci-fi edition. So I'm excited. So
That's
this is
very
how much
exciting.
I have left for my quest calendar in the year.
Well, you are a better role player than I, Bonsai. Congratulations on keeping up with that. But let's move on to another headline. I think that lines up a little bit more closely with my tasteful habits. Coven Aunts. Coven Aunts is a tabletop RPG about drinking wine and being witches, and also having relatives, either on your brother or sister's side, with children. Um, it's a tabletop role-playing game that's coming very soon to Kickstarter. It features witchcraft and wine drinking. You play as an aunt in a coven of witches. You indulge in witchcraft potion brewing, and it uses a simple dice rolling system you might have heard before, powered by the apocalypse. And everyone here should have heard of that before. You can see it in games like Fate and Monster of the Week, and now Coven Aunts. Alongside your duty to your family, you have to juggle all of the demands of being a member of the coven. So that might mean anywhere from being very snooty and uptight at your family events, or trying to come up with the best way to decorate for the Halloween season. Very wholesome things like that. The Powered by the Apocalypse system has been used to make a lot of different TTRPGs that we've seen before, so I'm very excited to see it being used for something as quaint and cute as this. It's supposed to be a very rules light system, which you could expect from anything as cute as this. I really am looking forward to embracing my inner snooty, long nose aunt, holding my wine glass as I judge all of the other coven members. And take a look at this outfit, Barbara. Don't you just think it's so droll? Why couldn't she just drink that aging potion like we all do? Oh, because it uses the blood of children. Well, okay, I guess there's that, but I mean, children have plenty of blood to spare. I mean, don't kids get blood drawn every once in a while? I feel if I was playing a coven aunt, I would have a lot of very easy things to use to justify all of the horrible things that witches do. I think this would work very well for me. What do you guys think about an RPG based around being somebody's aunt?
I like it. I like the idea of doing that, but also at the same time, I would be a sassy aunt, and then also I would encourage them to do the bad thing, so they'll learn from it. I'll be like, yeah,
yes.
you should not just tell your parents and sneak out just to see what they do. I'd be bad.
I do love the idea of playing an adult who's kind of got some sort of questionable thing, like wizardry going on, and then kids show up that they have to be nice to and pretend, and they get caught in this compromising position of like brewing somebody's hand or something like that falls out of the kettle.
I mean, you had me at drinking wine.
Oh yeah, there you go. If the aunt being a witch and brewing potions doesn't hit you, yeah, you get to drink wine.
$14, get yourself a nice box of wine.
Yeah. I'm sure there's like some water to wine magic joke.
We gotta have a wine party. That's all there is to it.
Also, I want to say really quickly before we move on, the playable characters are called Aunt Sonas. I think that's just adorable. I want to create my own
Ah,
Aunt Sona. I'm very excited. And there's a quick play version as well. I think the Kickstarter when it launches, or it's already launched. The Kickstarter is already launched, and it's a very cheap Kickstarter as well. $2 to get, yeah, well, £2, $3 if you want to just get the quick play PDF copy. That's a really good deal for a whole RPG. And it comes with adventures that you can use in your games as well. So you can use it inspiration or you can just pick up and play. Very, very cool. Definitely check out the link in chat if you want to take a look. And thank you to Alex Meehan once again for reporting. Now, let's finish off our headlines with some very scandalous chess news that I know people have been waiting to hear our take on. But let's send it over to Peter to tell us more.
Oh gosh, yes, the world of chess. The cheating scandal has gone legal as Hans Niemann has sued Magnus Carlsen and Chess.com for $100 million. Yeah, wow. I didn't know there was $100 million in chess, but apparently he thinks so. This story comes from Chase Carter at Dicebreaker. So 19-year-old chess grandmaster Hans Niemann has filed a lawsuit against several parties at the center of the ongoing cheating scandal that is rocking the professional chess scene and is seeking $100 million in damages from these parties. The lawsuit was filed in Missouri's Eastern District Court. It names defendants fellow Grandmaster Magnus Carlsen, online platform Chess.com, along with its chief chess officer, Danny Wrench, and popular streamer Hikaru Nakamura. Niemann is suing the named parties for slander, libel, and civil conspiracy, among other charges, claiming devastating damages initiated upon his reputation, career, and life by egregiously defaming him and unlawfully colluding to blacklist him from the profession to which he has dedicated his life. This is but the latest chapter in an ongoing spectacle that began when Carlsen abruptly withdrew from the Sinkfield Cup in St. Louis after losing against Niemann. Less than a month later, Carlsen resigned from a match against Niemann after making a single move. He later tweeted that he believed Niemann had cheated in the first match, which motivated his ostensible protest at the Julius Baer Generation Cup. The scene immediately erupted into discussion and speculation. Officials at both competitions later claimed they could not find any evidence that Niemann cheated. A Wall Street Journal piece from October 7th reported that Chess.com had published an investigation into Niemann and discovered more indications of cheating during matches than the player had previously admitted to during interviews when he was younger. Chess.com banned Niemann from its platform, which is commonly used to host online tournaments, on September 8th, and published its reasoning to Twitter. So my first question when I heard about this is like, how do you cheat at chess? Well, okay, so first of all, these are games that are played online. And according to an article by Archie Blond in the Guardian, at the heart of the problem are programs or apps that can rapidly calculate near perfect moves in any situation. To counter these engines, players in more and more of the top matches must agree to be recorded by multiple cameras, be available on Zoom or WhatsApp at any time, and grant remote access to their computers. They may not be allowed to leave their screens, even for toilet breaks. In some cases, things that make you go, In some cases, they must have a proctor search their room and sit with them throughout the match. Emil Sutovsky has suggested eye tracking programs may be a way to raise a red flag if a player appears to be looking away with suspicious frequency. Chess.com, the world's biggest site for online play, said it had seen 12 million new users this year, up from 6.5 million new users last year. The cheating rate has jumped from between 5,000 and 6,000 players banned each month. Holy cow. Last year to a high of almost 17,000 players banned in the month of August. Whoa. Holy. Yeah. Javian, you follow this story. I'm sure you've got something you want to add.
Well, I mean, it's such a difficult situation for everybody involved. I mean, on the one hand, there's no physical, like, concrete evidence that he was cheating, and they were playing over the board at the time. So there's no sure way to know if he was cheating in that big contentious match that everybody's talking about. However, chess.com has a great history of catching cheaters, and they've done it so many times before. It's hard to believe they wouldn't be able to find something about Hans cheating in previous games. It just happens to be like really bad timing that they only started looking into it as Magnus said something about it, and Magnus barely said anything to begin with. So it's just a very touchy situation. I can see this court case being dragged out for a very long time. I definitely don't think 100 million is a fair amount to ask for, but I mean, if you're gonna go big, you might as well go there, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Noir.
I didn't have anything helpful to build to this. I was just gonna say, cheating in person at chess has got to be a pain in the butt.
How do you do it? How would you do it?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well,
I guess the same apps. You have like a cohort who's running these apps and signaling you somehow of what the best move is.
Yeah, exactly. Or like somebody sitting across from you in like seats that you can see in the audience or something like that, giving a signal with their hands or something like that, or changing seats once in a while, just gesturing, things like that. There are ways of cheating, and people have been caught before. But man, the extreme lengths that people are going to keep people from cheating. I
wonder if it's somebody from like poker industry as well, like because the poker industry has their own like cheating problems in live competitions as well. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah, but that's in Vegas, and you don't want to cheat there, so you're going to end up out in Lake McClellan.
All right. Well, we got to wrap up our headlines now. That's going to be it for all of our headlines, but that doesn't mean the news stops there, because it's time for everybody's favorite segment. Bundle Boss.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, the bundle of holding this week. GURPS 4E horror bundle. Hold it, Monster Hunter. This all new GURPS 4E bundle is the second of two offers in progress featuring GURPS, the generic universal role-playing system tabletop role-playing game from Steve Jackson Games. Yes, this offer, part of their annual October Horrors sequence, presents the Horror 4E sourcebook and many sinister supplements. If you're new to GURPS, though, first get the core rule books in their revived June 2022 GURPS 4E Essentials bundle that's in progress. Then return here for this new bundle featuring top quality supplements dripping with zombie gore, monster ichor, and horrifyingness by star horror meister Ken Hite and many others. For just $14.95, you get all 7 titles in the 4E horror starter as DRM-free ebooks, including Ken Hite's complete GURPS horror 4th edition source book. Also, 5 bestiaries as Creatures of the Night series, and Infinite Worlds Horror of Horror, a collection of alternate history campaign settings. And if you pay more than the threshold price of $31.14, you'll also get the entire 4E horror bonus with 8 more titles worth an additional $88, including Ken Hite's horror campaign, The Madness Dossier, and all sorts of installments of Monster Hunter series. All these supplements require the GURPS 4th edition rulebooks, which are not included in this offer. 10% of your payment after gateway fees will be donated to Direct Relief. Direct Relief sends protective gear and critical care medications to healthcare workers with emergency deliveries to medical facilities across the US and Canada, and to regional response agencies around the world.
Thank you so much, Peter. Our bundle boss couldn't have asked for a better one. All right. Yeah. Check out some GURPS for your and help out a very worthy cause. But now we're going to jump right into crowdfunder court. That's right. We have assembled our galley of humble judges and jury. We have our audience to help us decide. And of course, we've got our wonderful producer, Marcus. But sitting at the podium, we have Bonsai, who will lead us through this crowdfunder court and keep us decide who shall keep their heads and who shall be rolled.
Alrighty then. Okay. I feel like, Noir, you've been a little quiet lately. Have you brought anything tasty to the crowdfunder court?
You know, we've had a couple of these crowdfunded courts and people have been saying that I haven't brought it, so I'm about to bring it. We're starting with Koriko, A Magical Year, a tarot-driven story game of novice witches, urban exploration, and teenage drama for one player. That's right. You can play by yourself. And for a quick overview of the game, this is a game for one player designed for contemplative solo play. It's a bubbling cauldron of simple rules and writing prompts stirred together to produce a story of a teenage witch spending a year away from home in an unfamiliar city, Koriko. You'll use this book, a deck of tarot cards, and a teetering tower of dice to explore the city, work to improve your witch's fortune, and meet some of the city's weird and wonderful residents. The game's primary inspiration is Kiki's Delivery Service, both the Studio Ghibli film and Iko Kadona novel. The creators of this have watched the film countless times as it's one of their son's favorites, and it's a story that as its story and themes have burrowed deep into their soul, so it's in every aspect of this game. Right now they're at $181,417 on a goal of $5,599, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't jump in. You still got 16 days to do it. It's a beautiful looking game. The art is magnificent, so go ahead and check this out.
It's adorable.
So cute.
And I
Got
love solo
wholesome
RPGs.
vibes.
And it's like pretty cheap too. So I'm very excited. Thank you so much for showing this, Noir.
Thank you, Noir. You have brought it with the cozy vibes. I appreciate them cozy witch vibes. We all do. We all do. Up next, okay, Denna. We did a lot of announcements about this earlier, but the official tabletop role-playing game for one of the most famous anime series, Cowboy Bebop, is finally released with 26 days remaining, ending in November 16th. The officially licensed Cowboy Bebop tabletop RPG on Kickstarter. This, of course, if you guys aren't familiar, Cowboy Bebop being about space bounty hunters, dealing with the whole corporations and having to balance how it is to either be a good person, to be a bad person, and people in between, mostly about people in between, just trying to live in the world without choking. 1 second.
Oh no.
The gameplay is based on their own very unique system, which kind of feels like a blend between Fate, which is a tag-oriented narrative play, and Forged in the Dark, which uses clock systems. The system is really its own beast, and it's a little bit funky. It's pretty clear that the designers are huge Cowboy Bebop fans and worked really hard to tie the themes and mechanics. So if you want to check it out, they have about a free 51-page quick start rules on DriveThruRPG. I believe there's also a couple of other famous and popular RPG groups that have already demoed it as well. So if you want to sink your teeth into, players take on the role of bounty hunters in the Cowboy Bebop universe, and the system works hard to build a narrative between the similar to the series, with all the characters starting with mysterious and clouded pasts that emerge dramatically through the gameplay. And if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and check it out for all the jazz music and stuff. Yes. So there's mine.
I love Cowboy Bebop. I'm so sad the TV show got canceled. It was so good.
It was the Netflix series. So if you guys didn't know, the Netflix series of the live action did get canceled. But it's okay because you can still go ahead and watch the anime series. It's still there. It still exists. And maybe they'll come back in its own way. Maybe like it'll sneak up, right, Javion?
Oh yes, much like a spy would. In fact, that's the theme of my Kickstarter. It's a very quick one, actually. It's only got 10 days to go, and it's a game called Spies. It's one of those games where you print it at home, where you just go to like a copy shop or something and you print it out there. Maybe laminate it if you want to reuse it. I don't know. It's a game for 2 to 6 players about hidden movement and deduction. Those are some of my favorite games. And this one is a very short and sweet one for ages 8 and up. And play is in about 20 to 30 minutes. Costs you about $4. You get the whole thing and printable and ready to go. It even shows you how to set it up so it looks a little bit nicer on the table. But the whole point of it is that you're playing as a spy and you're tracking other spies at the same time as you're being tracked. It's a very simple game. You're literally just drawing on this map. That's why it's such a quick game. You're deciding where you want to start and then where you want to move to. You're drawing like a line from where you go, and you're traveling around this place. And then you either circle a place if you're trying to accomplish a mission and get points, or you try to draw a box around a place if you think one of your opponents, the person sitting to your left, has picked a spot to circle. So it's very intricate, and you get to ask questions about where people are to help you figure out where they are. It's very intricately designed, but still very succinct. I've already backed it because, I mean, how do you pass up a $4 Kickstarter? I mean, I'm just trying to rack up my numbers on Kickstarters and gather as many of them as I can. This Kickstarter has about 10 days to go. It's a very cheap price point, and it got funded in about an hour. It's bound to be very fun. Check it out if you like deduction games as much as I do.
Thank you very much for that intro. But also now we have Noir is going to go ahead and give us a delectable thing that I have opinions on, but I'm not biased. Maybe I am. Maybe there's a bit of bias. Just go ahead, Noir. Tell your spiel. Tell your gosh darn accessory spiel.
If you haven't been able to tell right now, I like to troll with my pick. So here we go. The modular desk built by Wormwood, designed by you. The modular desk is an ideal workstation for any activity or occupation because you can customize the desk to fit your life perfectly. It is a beautiful looking piece of furniture that you can customize to your whim. If you want to add a cup holder, you can. You want extra space, you can. The modular desk is available in 2 desktop sizes. Everyone has different needs and preferences, and when it comes to space, so choose the model that suits you best. The standard 60-inch wide, 30-inch deep, while the extra large comes at 78 wide and 36 deep. I love it. I want one. Wormwood, if you're out there, hit me up. Bonza, you got any thoughts?
Yes, my thoughts is one, great quality. Wormwood, you do great quality. But one of the issues I have is in your Q&A when people ask, is this vegan? And you said yes, but I get it. It's not made with animal products, but some of the woods that you source is not sustainable, and it's illegally harvest, or not illegally harvest, but not practically. When they harvest, they kill the environment more, and that's more animals dying. Just in case, for your FYI, I have a problem with that. But you have very beautiful desks and you're very good quality. I just have issues with you saying that it's vegan. I get it. You're not using shellac. Very nice for you. No animal products.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Bonsai Noir and Peter. We are done with
look at the time. Look at the time.
That is all the time we have for Crowdfunder Court. Stick around at 3:30 p.m. We've got Monster of the Week Part 3, the exciting conclusion to Science Scare. And coming up right after that at 5 p.m., we've got Sarah Moore at Sarah's Table for more of the Crowned RPG. And stick around on Thursday at 4 p.m. with Roll with Rem Alternis, so you can watch more of Noir Enigma as he plays through their very fun stream that day at 4 p.m. on Thursday. Well, that's going to do it for us today. Don't forget to check out the VODs here on Twitch or on YouTube 24 hours later if you missed anything, and follow us for more of the best 4 days in gaming all year long. We'll see you in a bit.